has been a while, but here I am. So I did not mean for it to be a month between the last video I posted and this, but that's the way it worked out. But yes, I am here today to give you an update on my whips and everything that I was working on for Finish It February. So, how have you been? It's been a while. I've missed you. I'm so excited to talk about everything I've done. Let's get into it. Last time we chatted, I had mentioned some things that I wanted to get finished, or just like were inevitably going to be finished in Finish It February, because there was so little left of them to do. And so we're just gonna start with that, start with my finished objects. Okay, so the first one, it's just an accessory, it's pretty small, but the little neckerchief scarf that I made is complete. There is dog hair on it, that's awesome. But yes, it is complete, it is super cute. The yarn that I used for this, both are a lace weight alpaca. The blue is Joy by Yarnalia, and the red is Cascade Alpaca. My voice right now does not sound like my voice. I'm kind of tripping. Okay, so this is done. If you watched my Finish It February video, you know that I had started this project to be a stash busting project because I had the blue and the red left over from two different projects. I had found that I had way less of the red left over than I did of the blue, and the amount of red I had left, I wasn't sure if I wanted to just stop at the red and be left with more blue, if that would have it be as long as I'd be happy with wearing it, or if I wanted to buy more red and go until I ran out of blue. So I did buy more red, and it is exactly the length that I wanted it to be. It can wrap around my neck twice and is long enough to tie in a bow and like hang down. And I love it. It's super cute. I wore it to work yesterday with just some, I think I wore it like a camo pair of pants and just a black top and this tied around my neck, and I felt so cute. The like muted tones of the green in the camo with these, like the blue is kind of more muted, and then the red, it's just like dark, and I think they all looked really cute together. And I really love making accessories. I want more accessories available to me when I'm getting dressed, so I can feel more put together, you know? Cute little neckerchief like this, so cute. Yeah, so that's the very first thing. I don't remember the order of the things I finished everything in, it's been a while. But yeah, I did finish this in February, and I did try to block it. You can see that it's curling in on itself quite a bit. And I did try attempting to block it. My girlfriend was like, you should try to get it to lay flat, and I was like, I don't think that's gonna work. And I also I kind of want it to curl, but I was like, I'll try. I don't think it's gonna work, but I will attempt it. I wanted to wash it. I just really like giving everything a nice wash after finishing it up. Anyways, if my bangs are lopsided, don't say anything about it. So I attempted to block it flat, and that, as you can see, did not work, but that's okay. I'm really happy with how it is. I like that it curled in. I think just like, because I wear it like tight, like almost like a choker, and I think, I don't know, the size of it, the thickness of how it is with it curled up is really good to me, and those colors together, like, that's why I wanted to make this. I was like, I need to use these colors together when I finish the 2 other projects that I made with the yarns in the first place. And so yeah, I'm just really happy to have this. It's super cute. I can also like tie it in my hair for a headband, around my waist for a belt. Like, you know, there's many options you can use for just a long, basically strip of fabric like this is. So yeah, that is the first thing that I wanted to show you. Very happy with that. The next thing is very exciting. It is my first self-drafted sweater pattern, a knit, and it is this purple cabled sweater. I knit it up with Lana's Light, or Light Lana's. Those 2 words are in there in some sort of order, by Barocco. It is a fingering weight yarn. I bought the yarn for a different project along with 2 other colors, but when I got them home, I was like, oh no, this is the wrong weight for what I had intended. And also in the different lighting, I was like, these are not the colors I want together. So I ended up playing around. I was like, I'm just gonna play around, see what I make with this. This is also my first time doing cables, so that's awesome. I'm just really happy with how it turned out. It blocked out really beautifully while I was working it up, and I think I did mention this last time, that I felt I should have joined in the round for the body after 1 more cable repeat, because it felt like the upper arm of the sleeve was really tight. It was really kind of squeezing me, but with blocking it's just relaxed so much more, and it's very comfortable now. Not that if it hadn't, it would have been unbearable and unwearable, but it is perfect. It's exactly how I want it. It also got a bit of length to the sleeve with blocking, which usually I like my sleeve to sit at bracelet length, because I am using my hands for a lot of things, like I knit, I need my hands for that, cooking dinner, you know, the works. So I like it to sit there. These ones with blocking, they came down and they rest like right before my, like, what is that, thumb knuckle? Right before there. So it's very pretty, and that's what's making me okay with it. It's very pretty. It's also quite a light sweater. Yeah, I'm just very happy with it. And there's no decreases along the sleeves, so it's pretty straight. But it is it's still quite fitted along the top. And then, you know how some straight sleeves, it almost gives the effect of a flare? I don't know, maybe I sound crazy, but this doesn't quite do that, because it is just already to begin with such a smaller circumference. So yeah, and then so the bottom, this is one of my favorite details of this sweater, is that I made it come to a point in the center of both the front and the back. And I really love this, especially for wearing with skirts that definitely that have more of a volume around my hips. So it's kind of like the highest part of the bottom hem of the sweater sits right at the smallest part of my waist, and then this point is along the line for the widest part of my hips. So having my skirt, just when I wear a skirt under it, or pants that have a bit more volume to them, having that extra volume to kind of, it's a fun I've been watching a YouTuber who pronounces silhouette differently than I've heard it, so now it's stuck in my head. Silhouette. It's not a super fitted sweater, but it does it's barely positive ease, right between maybe 2 centimeters of positive ease on this. So I just think it looks really nice having this top with like a more voluminous skirt. Yeah, so that's really pretty. And then the last feature I just wanted to mention about this sweater is, so when I started it, I didn't quite know, I didn't have any plans for what I was making. I just cast it on, I was knitting, and then after I got like, so it's folded, you can see this. So after I knit this much and started the cables, so you can see that's just flat stockinette, I was like, I completely changed my idea, and it's not that much. I could have ripped back and just restarted, but I didn't want to do that, so I didn't. I was just like, whatever, screw it. So originally I had cast it on so that it would be like a rolled mock neck or like crew neck length. Yeah, and it would roll because it was the flat stockinette. And then after knitting the rest of this, I was like, that doesn't go with the rest of the garment. Really, it doesn't look that great. So I decided to fold it over and sew it down so that it gives it more of a boat neck shape. And I am very happy with how this turned out. I will say it does look like a little bit puffy, like you can tell it's sewn down right there. That's not a big deal. I think at some point I might go back and try to stitch just right along that edge to kind of get rid of some of that puff, and just to make that little chore a bit more interesting. I might add some beads in along that neckline just to motivate me to do that a bit more. But for now, I've worn this out a few times with it how it is, and I don't mind that it's puffy. Like, it's not a big deal, and it's not the most noticeable thing in the world. But I think it's super pretty. I'm so proud that this is my first self-drafted and first time cabling in a sweater, and I just think it is so beautiful. I definitely learned a lot from this that I will be taking forward into other projects because I have way more plans of things that I want to self-draft. Surprisingly, they're all with cable. I was really thinking that if I self-drafted something I would do color work designs, but so far my ideas are all based around cables. I won't go into every little thing I did wrong, but I do want to, in here you can see one of the cables is in the wrong direction for several rows, because they're alternating here between the two stripes of cables, however you would say that. So right here you can see that is there, but I like that. It's a fun little detail to just show that it's homemade. And yeah, I am just so excited with how this sweater turned out. This was also finished in February. It was February 28th when I soaked it to block it, so it was still blocking into March, and then I sewed down the neck in March. But like all the knitting was done, and I believe I wove in the ends before blocking. No, I did that after when I sewed down the neck. But anyways, it was done and finished in February, so I'm counting it. That is, yeah, so that's the next thing I finished in Finish It February. The next finished object that I have is a sewing project. Actually, it is this cloak. So if you remember last time I had mentioned that this cloak I had started 2 or 3 years ago for a Halloween costume. I was gonna be like a witch or something, foresty, magical, whatever. I started it and I got like everything done except for the bottom hem, and I just could not get myself to finish closing up that bottom hem. It took me 3 years to get around to it, but yeah, so I did that. I only had half of the bottom hem to finish. The thing is, I had to sew it up by hand because the lining and the outer fabric were not quite cut evenly. They were kind of different sizes, so I had to really hold it and make sure that it was going to be an even hem along the bottom and that there were no like holes where the lining didn't reach the outer part, all of that stuff. So I did that. I think it took me, I sat down for like a good hour or so and got half of that done, and then I came back and finished the last half, and then also added I believe it's called a French seam, but I really need to get better with my sewing terminology. I believe it's a French seam where you just go along, and maybe you can see it better on the lining side, and you secure it along the edge so that it doesn't like, the lining doesn't kind of shift and show when you're wearing it. It just holds it in place better. So yeah, I went back and did that, and I did that with my machine, and I just went all the way around the front, over the hood, back down the bottom. And then I added these antler buttons. They were a gift from a friend. They were destashing a bunch of sewing stuff, and they gave me just all of their buttons from like, they used to be their mom's buttons and stuff. So some really cool vintage buttons, and these antler buttons were in there. There's also, I still have so many more of the antler buttons that I am excited to figure out what I want to use them on. So you might be thinking, Cece, why is there a button on either side? How does that fasten? So there's no buttonholes, but you put it on, and then I have a piece of leather cord that you like do like you're tying a boat to a dock, like that figure 8 kind of thing. You do that around it a few times, and that keeps it quite secure. So that is the fastening mechanism for that, and I think it's so cool. The dark velvet with this, it has, I don't know if you've noticed yet, let me get it to look good in the light. There it is. That floral rose pattern imprinted in the velvet with the bones. I think it looks so cool and so witchy, and I love it so much. I wore it out right after I finished it, and I was definitely going for like a vampiric kind of look, and it's fun. Good stuff. It's getting cold again and rainy again for the next week, at least in the weather forecasts, so definitely gonna be whipping this out to wear, because with that, it's a really thick velvet, so it's quite warm. I definitely could have made it warmer if I hadn't done just this really thin kind of satiny, maybe? I think it's just polyester, but it's like very slick. If I had done a different lining, it definitely would be a lot warmer, but ooh, some thread sticking out, gotta cut that off. But it is really good, especially for some layering and just a cute little overcape. Yeah, so this, I am very happy that I finished this and very proud of myself for finishing this, because it has been sitting in my just sewing basket for, yeah, like 3 years, and it's done. I can wear it now, and that's so exciting. That is all of my finished objects. We're gonna move on to whips, works in progress. So yeah, let me grab the first one. So this is a project that I started last summer, and then I paused on it because I had other things I wanted to make more, and it was also going to be too cold by the time I finished this to be able to wear it for several more months. And also the color is quite springy. I think I started this in July, and then it was like August-ish when I ended up setting it down. And I was like, I'm not gonna wear this color in the fall. I could, like, there's nothing that could stop me. But, you know, we're going for that whimsigoth, witchy vibe in the fall, you know. Ribbons all tangled up. So I set it down and had the intention of picking it back up this spring. and I was a little nervous. I was like, I don't quite fully trust myself that I'm gonna pick it back up, but I did, and I've made a lot of progress on it. I did mention this in my last Yarn and Yap episode, but so if you watched that, you'll remember that I had knit just up to right after this first ribbon channel. So after finishing the little scarf, I think, I had the purple sweater be my at work project, and then I had this be my at home project. So I ended up working on this down to this other channel, and it's just flat stockinette, knit flat, not round, in the round. And then I was like, oh, I don't want to do the channel. That's going to be annoying to do. I remember like being pretty frustrated trying to do it last time. But then I was like, no, you know what? Just do it, get it over with, and then you just have the ruffle to do at the bottom, and then you can take a break from it. But yeah, I did that channel, and it was much easier than I'd remembered, and I'd like to... like, I had done several more projects that used this technique, and so it was really, like, it took me maybe 20 minutes to do that, where I was just knitting the two flaps closed with the ribbon between it, making sure that the ribbon was laying flat and not, like, twisted in the channel. So I finished that, and then after that, I really started just getting addicted to knitting this, and I've just been working on this ever since. So I guess it's been just since the end of February that I've picked this up again, and I've made a really good amount of progress. So yeah, I worked from below this first channel down, did the second channel, did this ruffle, and then there is an I-cord bind off across the bottom hem, and then picked up I-cord edging, I think that's the correct term, all around this front opening, and I did that, and then that was just really fun, and I was like, well, now I have to keep doing it, and now I'm stuck on Slave Island, and that's not that is not the most fun. I've kind of been stuck here for a while, but I knit the first one. The first sleeve is done. Yeah, I was kind of really slogging through just the whole, because there's no decreases or anything, and it is on a mohair, and so with a bigger needle, the cord to the needle, the size is quite different. You can tell that that's quite a difference. So I always have to like tug the stitches onto the needle when I'm switching, because I'm doing this in Magic Loop, and so it's really a slog. It's not like a really seamless project. Like, I need to stop every time I finish one side of the row and then really tug my stitches onto the needle and then go. So that's what's making this take so long and be kind of painful mentally to do. But yeah, I got a good amount of progress done last night, because I was thinking, I was like, after I finished the first sleeve, I tried it on, and I was like, wait, this is actually like super cute. If you watched my last episode, I had mentioned that I was worried it was a bit too feminine for how I usually, for the type of things I usually wear, and I do wear quite a few feminine things. I wear a lot of dresses and skirts, and I love that. But this is very springy, spring colored. I don't really wear pastels that much. I was nervous that this would be kind of out of my comfort zone when I had finished it, but I tried it on after I finished this first sleeve, and I was like, this is so pretty. And I have a lot of things in my closet that I can style with it, and I'm really excited to be able to wear it. I am quite excited. It is getting really cold and rainy here again, so I think it's gonna be a while until I can actually wear it, but that's okay because I need to finish that sleeve pocket, weave and ends. I need to add some hook and eye closures to the front, so I have some work to do on it still to bide my time until it gets warm enough to wear it. So yeah, so this is the main whip that I'm working on right now. I am really a monogamous knitter, but yeah, so hopefully this will be done by next month's podcast episode. But yeah, that's what we got. I do have one more whip to show you. Let me put this back in the bag because it is mohair, and my dogs are sheddy babies, and if their dog hair gets on my mohair, I don't think I will ever get it out. Okay, one more project to show you guys. I had mentioned last time that I had started a sock. Let me grab it. But I put it on hold because I needed the needles I needed 2 of the needles for the little scarf that I mentioned. Because Laceway, I needed the really tiny. I think these are I don't know if it says on here. I think these are oh, here we go. 2.5 millimeter, US 1.5 is the size of these needles. I used 2 of the needles for that little scarf, and then I used another needle as my cable needle for the purple sweater. So I was like, well, I can't work on the sock as long as I don't have needles to work on it. So I hadn't been working on it at all, but since finishing those 2 other projects and having my needles free up, I've been able to pick this back up. So last time I had mentioned that I had started doing a German short row heel for it, but had noticed that I messed up and I wasn't quite sure how to rip back while picking up the German short row turn stitches. Like, I felt like I would really mess it up. So my plan was just to rip back completely, so it's just the tube of cuff, and that is what I did. I ripped back, I put all my stitches back on the needles, everything's picked up, and then I think I ended up, it's been a while since I've worked on this. I think it was just putting the stitches back on the needles. And then I did a few more rows, maybe like 5 more rows of this, and then I haven't touched it since. But it is in a workable state again. I think I'm going to knit the cuff a bit longer, and then do my German short row heel again, and do the rest of the foot, toe. You got a sock. Will I make a second sock? I have all summer to do so. That is all of my whips. Last time I did mention that I'm sewing and embroidering a vest. I have not touched that at all, so I'm not gonna bother to bring it out. But last time I also mentioned some books that I wanted to finish It February, because they had been sitting for many months. And I did finish them. So the first book that was actually on my Finish It February list. I'm so sorry if the way I'm saying February is obnoxious. I can't remember how I say it. So the first book I wanted to finish, I started in like August, and then I got bored with only 100 pages left, and could not get myself to pick it back up. And that is Dracula, by Bram Stoker. What made me want to pick this back up was Nosferatu coming out, because Nosferatu, the original movie, at least, I'm not sure about the second one because I actually don't know really anything about the new movie that just came out. It is an unofficial retelling of Dracula. So I was like, okay, I want to finish Dracula, and then I'll watch the movie. I have not yet watched the movie. I need to, because it's not in theaters anymore, and streaming and all that BS. But I'm going to figure out a way to watch it without giving Amazon or whatever my money. But I really enjoyed it. It was a really good ending. I think where I had set it down. Okay, my biggest complaint is the misogyny in this book. Incredibly misogynistic. The two female characters were complete pick-me's, which was definitely a hard thing to read, and also the way the men talked about the women. That was definitely a hard thing to get through, but you know, of the times. When did this, I don't think looking at the copyright date on a Barnes & Noble thing, well, yeah, it did not come out in 1992. That was definitely a hard thing to get through. But other than that, I really loved the way that Bram Stoker wrote, like, different dialects. Like, as you go through the different parts of England, the different accents that you get there. And also they travel through a bit of Europe to get to Transylvania. And so just the way he writes the people's accents, it's really fun. It's so fun. It's definitely difficult at times when you're reading like a fisherman who's at sea and he's got like that really thick accent, whatever. You're like, what the fuck is going on? What am I reading? But it's an exercise for the brain. It definitely gets those muscles, those gears turning in your head, and it was really enjoyable to read. I did like how at the end, so it's like basically just a long time like traveling, trying to get to him, blah blah blah, and then there's the final fight and they kill, spoilers alert, I guess, if you don't know how Dracula turns out. They kill the vampire, and then it's pretty much done. Right after that, there's a like 1.5 page epilogue afterwards for them to be like, that was traumatic, but we're happy he's dead. And yeah, I really think the quick ending after reaching that climax, like there were 3 pages left in the book after that climax, I really enjoyed that, and I found that is something I really enjoy from books. So yeah, so that's I finished Dracula, my little review of books. I also, this was not finished in February, but I did also finish Aurora's Angel. Please excuse the shape of the condition the cover of the book is in. I have a dog who likes to eat books and tear them up. And I was reading, not this book, a different book, and she came over and sniffed the book. And I was like, watching her like, what are you doing? And then she started licking the book, and I'm like, no, we're not doing this. You're not eating more books. Anyways, Aurora's Angel by Emily Noon. This was really fun. The writing was definitely not my favorite. The dialogue is kind of stiff, and I did notice in the end quite a few grammatical errors, like punctuation missing, some misspelled words, things like that, which do kind of like pull me out of the reading experience. It's kind of like tripping on a rock every time I come across that. Other than that, the story was really good. I did start this in 2023, set it down like January of 24, and then finally finished it. So it's been set down for a while. So I'm not super familiar right now of what happens in the beginning, but the end. I really liked it. It was really good. It's really about, like, my girlfriend's read this twice now, and what she says about it is that it's just about the two girls, Aurora and her angel, their relationship the whole time. There is like other stuff going on, but the forefront of the story is the relationship. And so if you're looking for something like that, it is sapphic. It's a lesbian romance, so definitely really good for that. But yeah, did feel like tripping on rocks sometimes as I was reading this, because the writing isn't really the best, but the story was really good. And yeah, it is smutty, so I'm gonna put that little warning out. But yeah, I also finished this, The Monstrous Kind. I loved this book. I finished this 2 days ago. And it is so fun. All of the like reviews, it's a Jane Austen-esque book, so like that Regency romance, except that there's like zombies in it, and it's so fun, scary. The writing is so good. I cannot get over how much I enjoyed the writing in this book. The story was really good. I will say 2 things. So there's 2 like love interests. One of them I didn't really have a problem with, because it was more like political than based on romance. So like that one I didn't have a problem with. But then the other one, they were talking about this connection that they had, and I was like, I did not pick up on that at all. So I feel like that could have been developed more, is the romantic tension, I guess, between the main character and one of the love interests. It was a very fun book, very spooky. I could not recommend this book enough. Like, everyone go read it right now. It's so much fun. Yes. The Phoenix Keeper by S.A. McLean. This is so much fun. I read 4 chapters so far, so I'm very much in the beginning. This one is sapphic. The last one was not sapphic. But this is so fun. It's a girl. She works in a magical zoo. I really enjoy this so far. First four chapters have been really good. She's works at this magical zoo, takes care of birds and a kelpie, and is trying to get this phoenix, which there's only a few left. They're very endangered, and they're in this breeding program. She's trying to get the phoenix at her zoo a partner so that they can breed and make more phoenixes and increase their population so they don't go extinct. And it's very fun. The main character is very introverted, hates talking to people, unless you get her talking about phoenixes, then she's just like, will not shut up. And I love it. It's super fun. Yeah, so this is the book I'm currently on. Can't say too much about it, obviously, because I'm only 4 chapters in. But yeah, I'm very excited to keep reading this. And I'm very, very happy to be reading. My goal for the year, I didn't finish any books last year. Apparently I hadn't. I was looking back. I'll post the books I finished to my story on Instagram, just so like I can keep track of everything I finished and like a little blurb of what I thought about it. Apparently the last time I finished a book was March-ish of 2023. That's embarrassing. So I finished 3 books this year already, which is awesome. 1 from start to finish. So that's awesome. My goal is to read at least 12 books this year, so like 1 per month. Not like, and I'm caught up on that now with 1 per month. So yeah, that is that. I'm very excited. I will say I can't read and knit at the same time, and so I haven't had as much time to knit, or I've had like time to knit. I haven't had as much time where I want to knit because I just want to read now, and it's so hard to like figure out how I want to split my time. And really I'm not like trying to be productive and try to finish as many knitting and fiber arts projects as possible and finish as many books as possible. My goal is just to have fun and do whatever my heart and brain desire. If I want to read in the moment, I'm gonna read. If I want to knit, I'm gonna knit. That is everything. Something weird just happened in my hands. That was uncomfortable. But yeah, so that's everything I made, everything I finished. I'm very happy to have finished things for my Finish It February. I have plans for what I want to make after I finish that green little cardigan. And yeah, it is very exciting, very happy things going on. And I hope that you guys maybe got some inspiration from this. I want to know what y'all are making. Tell me what you're up to. Give me some inspiration, guys. I cannot get enough. Like, I know I shouldn't be scrolling through Pinterest, but I just like seeing the pretty pictures. So if you guys are telling me like what you're making, like I'm gonna use that to stay off the apps. But if you want to follow me on Instagram, that's my only other social media that I use. That is at cc.notcc. If you want to follow me there, I post my finished projects there, books I read to my stories, pictures of my animals, my cat and my dogs. So if you want to follow me there, do. Plan is once a month I'm going to do these yarn and yaps, and then I'm going to try when I can to fit in like a supplemental video of like a project vlog or something like that, maybe like playing dress up. Yeah, so that is the plan for my channel. If you want to come back, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more of me. But yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day and enjoy the spring weather that is coming upon us, if it's coming out for you, or if it's still really chilly where you are. Enjoy wearing your sweaters that you made for a few more months or something. Yeah. I hope you have a great day. Bye.